All right, so let's talk about maximizing your Google Hangout apps to help you hang out like a pro, to improve the production value and the engagement value of some of the innate Hangout apps that are available for you to use. So let's talk about setting up your apps here. We're going to talk about a few apps that are powerful for production value. We're also going to touch on a few others later, but we're going to be talking about something called the Cameramen App, the Hangout Toolbox, the Chat app, the Screen Share app, and the Control Room app. Now, these apps in particular are for production type value and somewhat in engagement as well, but we'll touch on a few of these apps and others here in this short video. So let's talk about the Cameramen app. Now, this is a cool app that really is all about production value. If you can see where this red arrow is, it points to the Cameramen app. It's this little blue-looking camera that looks like it has a wrench in the middle of it. That is the Cameramen app. So go ahead, when you get into your Hangouts right away after you check your settings and a few other things, click on the Cameramen app and check it out. When you click on the app, it's going to give you this screen on the right-hand side of the slide. And the only thing you really need to worry about is this yes, this little area here that has a yes and a circle around it. So what you want to do is click on the yes button there. And what that does and what that section says is broadcast the large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. So what that means is if that's a no or that's off and you have 3 or more people on your Hangout, the video slides, the video thumbnails are going to be visible and block and crowd rather the large video screen that your audience is seeing. So, and personally, I think that's distracting. I think it also it affects the recording of your video. So obviously, if you're doing a live Hangout, you're going to get a recorded YouTube video. Well, I've done this in the past when I've had more than 2 guests on, 3 people total, and I actually didn't put this on, and it actually recorded the video with the video thumbnails of our people, of everybody talking, in the actual video. So it actually shrinks down the large video and kind of puts a little bit of a distracting thumbnail in the Hangout area or the recording as well as the live show. So I would go ahead and make sure you click yes on that so that that doesn't happen. The Hangout Toolbox is another neat Hangout app that helps improve production value. It's this little red lunch pail over here at point 1 on the slide. So when you click on that, you'll see this little box here on the right-hand side pop up. And what you can do with this box is you can add a lower third. Is the main thing I use this for is a lower third. And a lower third is basically the lower part of the screen where you see a banner with your name, your website, your Twitter handle, those type of things. So you can actually create a generic lower third if you don't have one that's custom made for you right in Hangouts. So what you want to do is click on the little circle with a head in the middle, I call it, here on the left-hand side. You'll click that, and this screen right here is going to pop up. You're going to enter your name and your website or Twitter handle here in the tagline here at point 3. You can choose a logo that's on your computer. You can change the color of the generic banner. And then when you're ready to turn it on, you have to actually hit this on-off switch here to turn it on. Now, when you turn it on, it's going to look backwards to you, but it's going to be frontwards to your audience. So it's a little confusing there. It's going to look backwards to you, but frontwards to your audience. So don't freak out if it looks backwards. There's something wrong. Did I do something wrong? That's what it should look like when you're using a generic lower third. You can also use this little flip around button here. If you want to look at it yourself, it'll turn it around so you can look at it, but make sure you click it and turn it back so that your audience sees it correctly. You actually want it to look backwards to you. You can also use what's called a custom overlay. Now, here at point 4 on the slide here is where you can upload a custom overlay to your Hangouts toolbox. And so this just uploads something you have saved from your computer. And then once you have it uploaded, you can save it down here at point 5 as a preset. So you can actually save it here, and it'll actually appear in your list, and it'll save it for you. So every time you come on the Hangout, you'll have that ready for you. So if you want to use a custom overlay, you just click the check mark and it'll appear on your screen. If you want to delete it, obviously you can use the trash can here, but we'll touch on custom overlays in the next slide in a little bit more detail, but they're really nice to have. They add a little bit of professional touch. So here is one of the custom overlays that I have for one of my webcasts. It's called Health Jams. It's a healthcare entrepreneurial marketing show. And what you see here is the outline of my my custom overlay. Now it looks transparent because it is. You actually want a transparent PNG file so that it actually just puts a bracket around you, but obviously leaves you visible. Again, I think they add a professional touch to your presentations. Most graphic designers can make one for you, or you can get one on Fiverr for a very inexpensive cost. You want a transparent PNG file, and to upload it, you just simply do what we did in the previous steps. You just go to the Hangout Toolbox, click on Upload Overlay once you have it made and saved on your computer, and then it will upload it to your Hangout. Let's talk about a few other useful apps here to use during live Hangouts. And let's just go down from top to bottom on some of these. We already mentioned the chat app at the beginning, but let's touch on what that does. This is this little blue application at the top here. It allows you to chat privately with any of your participants on the Hangout. Now, by participants, I don't mean people viewing you. I mean people who are actually appearing inside your Hangout to participate in your discussions. So if you needed to send them a private message and you didn't want your audience to see it, you could actually use the chat app to send them a quick message. Hey, Bill, your hat's on sideways, or you have a nose hair or something that's gone wild, something like that. Mainly, I don't use that very much in our Hangouts. We mainly use that. The chat app is great. What it's best for is when you're collaborating. So if you're doing a regular Hangout with your business partners or something, and you need to send them a link to a website to look at something for you, a Dropbox link, whatever, you can actually just cut and paste that into the chat app, and it really helps with back and forth collaboration. That's mainly what we use it for. The screen share app is just below it. It's this green little application here. It's a great, powerful app. That's what you're looking at this on right now. It's a fabulous functionality of the Google Hangouts. One of the pearls, definitely, as far as the Hangout apps go. What you could do is you can literally share any browser or document that's open on your computer, and it works fabulously. It's a little tricky. It takes a little practice. I would definitely practice with this if you're going to do slideshows in your Hangouts. It's not something that's just completely easy to do, but it's not that challenging either. Just practice doing it. And in our Hangouts That Convert community, we talk a lot about how to use this correctly so that people are not messing with it and get it right the first time. Below that is the Showcase app. This app allows you to share links with your audience directly. So you can share a website with this link. You can paste a opt-in page or a sales page. So if you're hosting a live Hangout and you want to share your sales page, let's say you're doing a webinar that's a sales webinar, you can actually put that sales page in that link in your audience and direct your audience to it, and they can actually click on it right on your live Hangout and go to your page. I personally don't use the Showcase app because we do Hangouts within third-party applications that have better abilities to post offers and things like that. But that is an option if you're going to do a free Hangout, like a Hangout Google Plus Hangout event on Google Plus directly. That's a great app to use. The Q&A app is below that. That allows you to answer questions from your audience verbally on camera. So you can actually direct your audience to that app. They can actually type in their questions, and then at points during your discussion on your live Hangouts, you can actually field questions, answer their questions directly on your Hangout. So we already talked about the Cameramen app here, this little blue one with the wrench. Below that is the Control Room app. Now, the Control Room app is a very important app if you're going to be hosting roundtable discussions. So if you have multiple guests, like say it's yourself and 5 other people, well, with 5 other people, there can be a lot of things that can go on. It can be very distracting for your audience if there's background noise or someone's having too much distraction in their Hangout. And so the Control Room app gives you, as the presenter or the controller of the Hangout, the ability to control your participants' microphone volume, camera, or even eject them from the Hangout if it's too big of a distraction. So it's a great app. I mainly use that if we're doing roundtables and there's background noise. I can mute the person's microphone so that it reduces the distraction for the audience. I can lower the volume, but mainly I use the mute function there if someone's background is or just kickback or whatever it is distracting our audience. Finally, the Google Hangouts, the Google Effects rather, is this little magic wand here. It's kind of silly. It allows you to do different sound effects, wear costumes, different silly things, use props on your screen. It's fun to do with friends. I would say the main thing from a business standpoint, or if you're hosting a webcast, is that the sound effects within that can be a bit entertaining. There's certain sound effects you can use, like hands clapping, drum rolls, different things like that. If you're bringing a guest on, you could do a drum roll before they appear or something like that. I don't use it a lot, but we have used it a few times just to kind of test it and see how if it adds value to our webcasts. I like it, but it's, again, probably not the most critical app. And then below that, we already talked about the Hangout Toolbox. So those are the main apps. Those are a lot of the main apps that we use during our webcasts that really help improve the production value and improve the engagement in our Hangouts.